When it comes to lighting a backdrop, it can be challenging, especially with only one light. But you don't need expensive gear or an elaborate setup to breathe life into your backdrop. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Now I'm going to keep it real with you. The larger the backdrop, the harder it'll be to light it evenly with only one light. But that brings me to my first point. The more distance you have, the better. The further you can move your flash from the backdrop, for the sake of keeping this easy for me, I'm going to use the word flash, but that could be a speed light, a strobe, an LED light, anything. The more distance you have between your flash and your backdrop, the more that light will be able to spread. It's important to note that when you're only using one flash, the flash will mostly be placed in the center of the backdrop. So that means the light will be more concentrated in the center and will fall off towards the edges. So if you're looking to have a completely white backdrop, you will likely need to increase the highlights or white point in post to bring those edges to a pure white. You may be tempted to blast the backdrop with as much light as your flash can put out. And while that may get your edges to pure white, it could heavily blow out the center, and a lot of that light could reflect back on your subject, creating a halo effect, or the light could bounce back into your lens, causing flare or a washed out or low contrast image. If you're using a speed light or a strobe with the Fresnel head, it will help to use something to diffuse the light. Most speed lights have the built-in diffuser, which, although it doesn't change the light spread dramatically, it will help. A better option would be something like a 7-inch reflector or a dome diffuser. Modifiers like these will go a long way in spreading the light, and even if you can't get your flash far from the backdrop, you can still achieve pretty good light coverage on your backdrop, and you may need little to no post-processing to get you where you want to be. Of course, if your composition only utilizes a portion of your backdrop, then that portion is all you need to worry about lighting. It won't make sense to try to light the entire backdrop when only half of it is in frame anyway. The look you're trying to achieve is important as well. If you only want a circle of light behind your subject with a natural gradation or vignette towards the edges and corners, you can place your flash close enough to get the look you're going for without worrying about needing that flash to cover the entire backdrop. Another creative option would be to light your backdrop from one side to create a smooth light fall off from left to right or vice versa. For example, if you lit your background on camera left and your subject on camera right, this will create a nice contrast in light patterns between the two. You can also gel your flash to throw light onto your backdrop. When using gels though, you have to remember that the more flash power you use, the less color you'll see. So you won't necessarily have the flexibility to blast your backdrop with light from a far distance. The color of the backdrop will make a big difference as well. Lighter color backdrops will work best. One last thing, you certainly can use regular modifiers such as strips or octas to light your background, but the size can sometimes make them difficult to use when you're in a tight space and you don't want them showing up in your frame. But the benefit is that they help soften and spread the light, which can make for more pleasing light on your backdrop. So experiment. If you have two flashes, the job will be much easier for you. When using two flashes, you'll want to cross light them. In other words, the flash on camera left should be aimed towards the right side of the backdrop, and the flash on camera right aimed towards the left side of the backdrop. Doing this helps create a more even spread of light and avoid hot spots on your backdrop. And although you may have more concentrated light where the light from the two flashes intersect, it will be towards the center of your frame where you likely would want more light anyway. Hopefully you found this video helpful. On your way out, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more content, ring that bell like Anita Ward said. As always, I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate your support, and until the next one, take care.